cubic yards of stuff, so
Think about it,
it's
the
being
board
watered and rolled
board
and watered and rolled.
caved in
And it'll get
everything
as hard as this.
you know, stuff that he pulled with the board.
But
like
I'm
approving that
excited, and
Contract with
it's,
To
the
advertise
food
it.
service vendor,
well,
Get the word out.
you know, charging.
I don't know. You don't want people coming in from the outside. You have no
If they don't
control
sign
or
up for
that kind of thing, so.
I mean, it could be a good offer for the church.
I don't know. I don't think you get many Baptists that want to convert because of bocce.
they needed that.
Oh, but you might have,
Maybe a Church of Christ or two.
you might have some
Back in the
retired
region
folks sitting
and
around
stuff
that don't have a community to be in, and this is their way in, you know?
We're gonna see,
Now they've done away with
I
it.
figured it out, it takes about an hour and a half to do 3 games. So, given when it gets dark and you're starting at about 5:45, you gotta figure out, and there's no lights out there, it's just all natural, how long you can play. So, I figured like 6 teams, 4,
Anybody heard from Delane?
well,
There he is.
we were talking about putting those little strip lights around, but, we
We
haven't.
weren't
gotten
about
there
to
yet.
start.
Taking my drill. Hey, Delane.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Jack.
Greetings.
People. Like that church.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
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 We got a closed session.
Jerry?
Good.
We got a closed session.
How are you? Good afternoon. I'm Delane Simpson. I'd like to call to order the Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board meeting, April 24th, approximately 5 o'clock, City Hall Commission Chambers. First order of business will be roll call.
Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Dearbone, Wilder, Thomas.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we'll need the approval of the minutes of our last meeting, March 27th.
I should make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Deere, Thomas, Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Wilder,
Abstain.
Thomas.
Yes.
All righty. Moving right along, comments and announcements, are there any? Okay, hearing and agenda appeals. All right. See, I knew I was going to forget something. Jack did that because I was always reminding him, right? Thank you, Jack. Let's swear in the self, please. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you. And thank you again, Jack. All righty. Hearing agenda and appeals. Parking citations, we have nothing. Code enforcement, moving right along to new business. Case number 1 pertains to 2008 mowing approvals. And
I'll make a motion that we approve the mowing of the properties listed above for the 2018 mowing season.
I second that.
Deere, Thomas, Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
yes,
Wilder, Thomas.
Yes.
thank you. Case number 2, 2018-151, 1151 Kentucky Street, owner Miles Properties, and respondent is Clay Miles. And Brad, you have the deal here. Is anyone from Miles Properties present? Okay, Brad, thank you.
Okay, bear with me. We've got 3 pages here to go through on the summary, so it's quite lengthy. I've tried to summarize it the best I could, but this case is the result of a tenant complaint that was received to our office on the 8th of January of 2018. An inspection was conducted of apartments 2 and 4 on the 10th of January of 2018. During this inspection, I noted the following violations. Stairs and porches not maintained in good repair or in a state of collapse. Interior handrails not maintained in good repair. Exterior doors not maintained in good repair. Multiple broken windows, multiple window sills and frames in a state of disrepair and decay or deterioration. Exterior doors missing required locks or hardware. Insufficient premises identification or address. Damage and holes in exterior walls. Fire safety egress violation due to collapsed stairway at the rear of the building. No smoke alarms installed in multiple required locations. Multiple interior walls not maintained in good repair and or with holes and damage. Inadequate required lighting in interior hallways and stairwells. Mechanical equipment not maintained in good repair. Improper maintenance of electrical equipment and fixtures. Electrical receptacles not maintained in good repair. Junk and appliances outdoors and outdoor accumulation of rubbish. Bathtubs, showers, and lavatories not maintained in good working condition. Plumbing appliances not maintained in good working condition. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a compliance reinspection of the 9th of February. I'll go through some pictures here. Additionally, in the meantime, though, our office had received additional complaints from tenants at this property regarding their natural gas being turned off. And that happened more than once during the NOV period, during which I communicated with the property owner by phone to ensure that they had heat and were able to cook. These dates included, but were not limited to, the 9th of January, the 17th of January, and the 22nd of January. The pictures here are showing the exterior of the property on the first inspection. This is the collapsed stairway to the back of the property. The stairs have collapsed and it's left a large hole underneath the back door of the apartment number 1. Broken and missing windows, window sills and doorways in disrepair. Again, more windows in disrepair. This is interior hallways and stairwells. There's holes in the stairwell. The picture on the left-hand side there is the upstairs hallway. That hole, you can actually see down into the hole through the ceiling of one of the downstairs apartments. Again, more holes in the hallway, missing fixtures in the ceiling. This is apartment number 2, so one of the 2 downstairs apartments. Apartment number 2 has several plumbing issues. There's no way to use the bathtub. The toilet was in disrepair. Electrical receptacles or faceplates were not present or adequate. Additionally, the kitchen sink was turned off, however, would not turn off the hot water. The hot water was constantly running at such a rate that it actually heated the rest of the apartment up. Windows in disrepair, ovens. This is apartment number 4 upstairs. You can see a mold-like substance and damage to the wall and around the windows. Locks are held on partially by duct tape as well. There's a hole in the door there for where their deadbolt is. This is lighting fixtures, missing smoke alarms and such. So moving along to the 23rd of January, the tenant of apartment number 3, who had previously not requested an inspection of his apartment, came to our offices and stated that he was concerned about his living situation. On the 24th of January, James Napper and I inspected apartments number 3 and number 1 at the request of the tenants. During that inspection, we determined that apartment number 3 was not fit for human habitation. On that date, we called the property owner and explained to him by phone what items would need to be corrected within 24 hours to allow the tenant to safely remain living there. Mr. Miles' response was that he would not be fixing those items and he agrees that the unit should be condemned. The tenant was given 24 hours to collect his belongings, and the owner was given 24 hours to find somewhere else for the tenant to reside. On the 25th, I re-inspected and found that apartment number 3 was still in violation, and the tenant from apartment number 3 had already been relocated. In order to condemn the unit, a repeat offender citation was issued on that date and posted to the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address, and a city contractor boarded the door to the unit. The items involved in the condemnation citation were a structure unfit for human occupancy, unfit for human habitation, inadequate light, air, and sanitation facilities, windows not maintained in good condition, entry door and hardware not in good repair or working order, no working smoke alarms, multiple holes in interior walls, peeling, flaking, chipping paint, and water damage, inadequate space or equipment for preparation of food. There was no working refrigerator, oven, stovetop, kitchen sink. There was inadequate heating facilities. Mechanical appliances were not maintained in good repair. Electrical equipment and receptacles in the kitchen were not maintained in good repair. Installed lighting was inadequate or not maintained in good repair. No plumbing appliances, no plumbing appliances were operable or in usable condition or as intended or in good repair, and there was no safe, usable, working kitchen or bathroom sink, toilet, or bathtub. Pictures here are showing, before we get to unit number 3 that was condemned, these are of apartment number 1, which had not been inspected until we came to inspect apartment number 3, and the tenant saw us there and asked us to inspect his apartment as well. Apartment number 1 has large holes in the ceiling from water damage. Additionally, the kitchen sink had very low water pressure and was in disrepair. There's missing areas of flooring due to the prior flooding, as well as patch ceiling from prior water damage. Missing smoke alarms in that unit, and as well as, again, another view there of the ceiling and wall from the prior water damage, which is just covered by a sheet. Apartment number 3, this is the bathroom sink, obviously unusable. The toilet handle was broken off. Many of the interior working parts were not operable. You can see there the window around the bathtub is in a state of disrepair. There was no way to use the shower or the bathtub. There was no running water in either of those, and the shower fixture was not operable. This is the door locking mechanism. Was not able to securely close or latch the door. Missing lighting. There you can see the deadbolt's not actually secured to the door with screws where they're supposed to be. They're just screwed around it. This is the receptacle and oven in the kitchen. The kitchen sink, which was unusable, and the refrigerator, which was unusable. You see a mold-like substance there underneath the kitchen sink from leakage and water damage, as well as the electrical receptacle hanging out of the wall. Missing lighting in several rooms, unable to use the stovetop for cooking. There's a hole in one room in the wall that goes through to another room, and damage to windows as well. So this is the following day, on the 25th. The unit was condemned. Photographs were taken of the citation and the property at the time the citation was posted. The compliance date listed on the citation was the 9th of February of this year, which coincided with the compliance date that was listed on the original notice of violation for the rest of the property. Also on that date, and for the sake of clarity for the property owner, the original NOV was updated with items identified during the inspection of apartment number 1, and a comprehensive list was sent to the owner with all of the items needed for correction by the 9th of February. The majority of the pictures that you just saw were already the issues that caused the condemnation, but here's just a few more pictures from when the unit was condemned. Again, interior and exterior doors not being able to be secured. The heat was not operable or sufficient. You can see large gaps there when the window closes, where they've deteriorated and the windows will not actually seal. Again, the kitchen, bathroom sink, toilet, none of those were operable or usable. Due to scheduling issues, the property was not re-inspected again until the 14th of February. And as the property remained in violation at that time, I sent a text message to the property owner for a status update regarding the property and did not get a response. On the 20th of February, I re-inspected the property, and I found that all violations listed on the original NOV, the previous citation, and the updated NOV were unchanged, and the property remained in violation. A second repeat offender citation was issued on that date and posted to the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the listed owner and address. The compliance date on that citation was the 2nd of March of this year. There are additional items that were added to that citation from the first citation, which were the vacant building not secured. At that point, apartment number 2 had been vacated. However, someone had kicked in the door, and it was lying on the ground inside the apartment. So it was a vacant unit that was unsecured. Inadequate heat supply throughout several units in the building. Inoperable and unlicensed vehicle on the property. Duty of maintenance of private property, and a dilapidated structure. These are some pictures from the second citation. You see an accumulation of rubbish outdoors, the citation posted on the property. This is apartment number 2, where the door was kicked in and was vacant and unsecured, as well as ongoing lack of maintenance to windows and windowsills. This is the side door that leads upstairs to apartments 3 and 4, which has been in this state for an extended period of time, where the door was unsecured and missing one of the panels. And you can also see significant damage and wear there on the windowsill. Again, more windows, peeling paint around the structure. This is the inoperable vehicle, which registration expired back in 2017 and had not moved for an extended period of time. Staircase to the rear of the property is still collapsed, not usable, as well as, again, more damage to windows and windowsills. This is the interior of apartment number 4, which is one of the upstairs apartments, the one across from the one that was condemned. Again, no smoke alarms whatsoever in the apartment. Lighting fixtures are missing or inoperable, mold-like substance due to an ongoing water leak. Additionally, as noted before, in January when the case first came about, there were several issues regarding gas being turned on or off in the building and tenants not having natural gas. During this citation, the resident of apartment number 4 provided me with this, that Atmos Energy had turned her gas off to her appliances due to her range having, as it says there, raw gas present while burning. So they condemned that appliance, and she was not able to use the oven at that point. Again, no smoke alarms in any of her rooms. At that point, she says she was unable to use any hot water in her sink and unable to wash her dishes. Also on that date, I made contact with the property owner. I also advised him if he did not have apartment number 2 secured within 24 hours that a city contractor would board up the unit for safety and security reasons. The owner did secure the unit by the following day, and a work order was not submitted. On the 13th of March, I re-inspected and found the property remained in violation with no positive changes having been made. A repeat offender citation was issued on that date and posted to the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance date listed on that citation was the 23rd of March. As of today, the case has been open 106 days and the property does remain in violation. I have talked to the property owner several times during this process. I'll show you the pictures here from the 3rd citation and again today, and you'll see that there's not much change. Some of these exterior items were removed as far as the standing water and tires and rubbish. The majority of that was cleaned up, as well as the inoperable vehicle was removed from the property. There you see the staircase is still collapsed, broken window still at the rear of the property. And again, this is from the 3rd citation. Window sills, window frames in a state of deterioration and decay. There's the inoperable vehicle and several windows there in a state of decay. This is the hallway leading to apartments 3 and 4. Apartment 3 is the one that was condemned on the right-hand side. The tenant did need to go inside that apartment to retrieve some belongings, so the board was removed from the door to allow him to do so. However, the board was not replaced. You also see in the hallway there the holes and damage to the lighting fixtures and such is still there. So again, this brings us to today. As of my inspection this morning at 8 a.m., the property remained in that same condition and was unsecured. However, as you'll see here at the very end, Mr. Miles had gone over to the property this afternoon and provided me with 2 pictures, which I'll show here at the end. But there's a appliance sitting on a TV sitting on the front porch. The majority of the windows at this time were still either broken or in a state of disrepair. There's an accumulation of rubbish and different debris around on the property, scattered garbage. You can see there's some drywall and such there, as well as the broken window and the collapsed stairwell. Again, the majority of the window frames and sills are in a state of disrepair or decay. Peeling paint throughout, as well as exposed plywood. The picture on the left here is that door that goes up to apartments 3 and 4. And the picture on the right is where the stairway collapsed from the rear of the property, and you can see down underneath, not only underneath into the foundation of the home, but also there's a gap large enough that you can see underneath into apartment number 1 through the door. These are the pictures provided by Mr. Miles today, I guess about 2 or 2:30 this afternoon. Mr. Miles has secured the back door with a piece of plywood, excuse me, a piece of plywood and painted it white, and as well as the 2 windows that were missing or broken on the upstairs of the rear of the building. He has installed plywood there and painted those white as well, which we had agreed was an appropriate temporary fix in order to secure the building, as there was concerns both on my part and Mr. Miles's part that someone, vagrants or homeless or someone, had been accessing the building, as there was evidence in the upstairs that there might be someone sleeping or residing there. So, but again, that's the current state of the building as of today.
Thank you. Have any questions?
Brad, there's no one living in this facility at this time.
Well, there should not be.
Okay, that's my
it should be
question.
vacant, yes.
Yeah.
Miles? We need to swear you in, sir. Please raise your right hand. Do you tell the truth? You plan to tell the truth, the whole truth, and my truth, so help you God? Thank you. Do you own this property?
I do.
How long have you owned it?
Right at about 3 years right now.
When it was fully rented, what was the income per month?
Each unit rented for $450 a month.
I'm sorry?
$450.
$450?
Mm-hmm.
And you've owned it about 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's slowly gone into a state of disrepair, and came January, we had some disorderly tenants who had to go to eviction court with me. They threatened my life a couple times, so I wasn't comfortable being on the premises until they were gone. And they all vacated the property early March. And I'll be honest, I've had some people quit on me, and I've been running rampant, filling my other units, and it's gone by the wayside, obviously. We're planning on doing major capital improvements, but we're not going to have the funds until early June to do so. All the windows will be replaced to double pane. We're going to redo all the wood, the decaying wood. All the units will get new appliances. Everything's going to be replaced. It's going to be a brand new complex. It's just I've not had the funds or the time to get over there to do so.
How many units do you own?
Close to 85.
85?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at these pictures, you say you've owned the property probably
3 years.
Over 3 years?
Right.
There's no way that some of that stuff didn't just happen. It's been there for a long time.
All the damages in the number 3 unit that was condemned was caused by the tenant up there. It was in a perfect working condition when he moved in there. And I wish I had pictures to show you, but I don't. But the sink wasn't off the wall. His refrigerator worked. Everything was completely fine because he was a KHC Life Skills tenant. They wouldn't have moved him in that apartment if it was in that condition. And the number 2 unit, it's the sink's been fixed. There's no more running water. There's really no issues in that unit as well. The major issues, they're up in number 3 and number 1 there.
How often do you visit your properties and go inside the apartments and houses?
Usually, like this one, I've not been there that often, but my other complexes I go quite often. It's just nobody resides there right now. So, but now that it's vacated, we can get in there and start to work on the issues and get it fixed.
Are you the sole property owner of the 85 properties plus this one?
Sir,
Okay. All right. Board, do you have any questions?
all I'm asking, is if we can pay the citation and avoid a per day fine. We'll get everything resolved and as soon as we can.
Would you live in that?
Oh, that's exactly. Oh, no, I wouldn't put anyone in there in that condition. That's why we've moved everybody out of there, and we've relocated anybody who's had any issues.
I think if you hadn't had a complaint, they'd still be in there.
No, I was planning on moving everybody out of there as the issues started to arise.
All right, I don't believe you, but that's fine.
Okay.
I think you ought to be ashamed to have people living in that kind of condition.
I mean, number 3, all the damages.
1, 2, or 3? Any of them.
Number 1, we've fixed we've continually fixed issues as they come up. Number 1, we've replaced the drywall where that piece of sheet, 4 or 5 times over the past year. It's not like we've just completely neglected the property.
Has been.
It has been, but we're trying to do better and move forward from here.
Any more questions by the board? Or motion?
Somebody help me here. It seems to me that you can't that it's going to take a long, long time to repair this property. You've got bathrooms, ceilings, walls, everything's got to be redone. And to say that this can be acutely done, it's not going to happen.
Like I said, it's going to take a couple months.
Unless you get those guys that come in 1 week with 80 people and fix your house. I don't mean to be facetious, but that's what it's going to take to do this. Are you going to do this work yourself, or are you going to hire it out?
We hired out. That's what I'm saying. If you can give me till early June and I can keep Brad in the loop on it, we'll have the funds to do so and have it all done at one time.
Well, that house is in disrepair at this point in time. And to give it till June, it seems to me that we've still got a dangerous situation here. So I'm going to make a motion to implement that per day fine of $100 per day to run for 30 days to see if we can secure this property.
I mean, what issues need to be fixed in the 30 days? Because the whole building's completely secured now. Nobody lives there. No one can get in the property. So what would need to be fixed to make it acceptable from an exterior stand? There's going to be a lot of money that's going to be required to be put into the property. A per day fine is going to make it very difficult to do so, as funds are being drawn to that versus fixing the property. That's just kind of where I'm coming from. You want the property to be fixed, but close to $3,000 a month I could go towards the property and not to fines.
The fact is you've known about this for a long time. It didn't just happen.
But major issues have really started to get worse over the past 3 to 4 months. They weren't like this last year. Or would they have not have called last year about it? I'm sure they would have. I'm not trying to be we're just trying to get it fixed, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
So the first citation, we had a complaint on 1/8/2018. Inspection was done on 1/10. Was there anything at that point, Brad, done when you went back on 2/9? Had there been any type of work at all?
No positive progress,
Okay.
only things getting worse.
2 tenants that had called in and complained were under eviction process at that time. And me and Brad agreed that it was okay if I didn't enter the premises during that time period.
How confident are you that you can secure the funding, which will be a large sum of money, needed to repair
I'm pretty confident. All of my money is in another project, another capital improvement project, and after that's refinanced, I'll have the money to fix this property. We just got board approval. It's 6 weeks for a commercial property appraisal. I mean, you guys probably know that too. It's about 6 weeks.
I'd like to make an adjustment to your original motion of 30 days and put until property is brought into compliance, $100 a day. Is that acceptable?
Yes, I accept that.
You want to vote on the motion then?
So we're looking
Do you
at,
need a second?
excuse me, Jack, we're looking at $3,000 for the month of May as a minimum. And then if it's August 1, before they get them all approved by the staff, we're looking at another 3 months of $3,000.
Yes.
Jack, you're seconding the motion. He's accepted your amendment.
Okay.
I'll second that.
You second the second? All right.
I think the
Jack made
appropriate
an
way,
addendum
amended
to my
yours.
motion.
I think he amended your motion, so
Okay, great.
you will
And
accept
I
that.
accepted that.
Then will you second it?
I will second that.
Now you have an appropriate motion.
Okay. Deere, Thomas. Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Wilder, Thomas,
Good luck. Case number 3. 2017-7525, 1120 Old Barren River Road. The owner responded as Mr. Rodriguez and Monreal. Brad, this is your case also.
This case is the result of a roaming inspection that was conducted on the 14th of
Brad,
September.
excuse me a minute. Excuse me a minute. Is anyone here representing that property? Is anyone here representing that property? If there isn't, do we still need to go through it?
Because it's not an appeal, because we're bringing this to
Okay,
you
thank
for
you,
action, then
thank
I
you.
still have to.
Thank you, thank you.
This case is the result of a roaming inspection that was conducted on the 14th of September of 2017. During this inspection, I noted the following violations. More than one broken boarded window, multiple inoperable or unlicensed vehicles on the property, duty of maintenance of private property, and vehicles that were improperly parked in violation of code. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a compliance reinspection of the 28th of September. The pictures here you'll see in front of you are the day that the notice of violation was sent out. From the street, you can see that there's multiple vehicles stored in the backyard that appear to be inoperable. Additionally, there's vehicles in the driveway that are in a state of disrepair and inoperable. The front right window to the house is completely missing, and there's a boarded window on the left rear side of the house. On the 2nd of October of 2017, I re-inspected the property and found that it was still in violation with broken windows, car parts, and inoperable vehicles in the driveway and in the backyard. I left a door hanger to encourage voluntary compliance, which you see here. Again, you see the vehicles in the driveway that are inoperable, the door hanger that was left, car parts, inoperable vehicle, again the missing window, expired registration on the vehicle. On the 13th of October, I re-inspected and found that the property was still in violation. With the help of the International Communities Liaison, I had a door hanger translated into Spanish. I went to leave that at the property. When I arrived, a female resident was out in front, and she explained that they had already gotten the notice of violation and the first door hanger, but that her husband works out of town and is only home 1 day a week. I explained that they needed to have some sort of progress towards compliance since they had been getting the other correspondence in order to avoid a citation, issuance of a fine or citation by the following Friday. There you see the door hanger that was left that was translated to Spanish. On the 20th of October of 2017, I re-inspected and found that the property remained in violation. A citation was issued on that date and posted to the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address, with a compliance date of the 31st of October. These pictures are from the first citation. As you can see, there are multiple vehicles in the backyard, piles of construction debris, scattered garbage, several vehicles parked around a boat that are inoperable and unlicensed. The window is covered with some sort of trash bag on the bottom portion, however, is still missing. On the front of the house and the left side of the house is still boarded. There's more vehicles and car parts in the backyard, as well as bags of trash, car parts in the front yard and towards the driveway. And again, tires and vehicles in the yard. On the 30th of October, I received a voicemail from the female resident explaining that she was having difficulty moving the cars off of the yard and has covered them with tarps, asking for an extension and explaining that she would make arrangements to pay the fine. On the 9th of November of 2017, I called Ms. Monreal back, as there had been no progress since her last voicemail. She answered, and I identified myself and told her why I was calling, and she said that she couldn't hear me and would call me right back, and hung up. She never called back. On the 13th of November, I attempted again to contact the property owner, leaving a message that I was trying to work with him, but without contact or progress, another citation would be issued. So on the 17th of November, I re-inspected and found that the property was not only still in violation, but more so than before. It appeared someone was home, and I attempted knocking loudly for quite some time on the door to make contact with anyone, but no one would come to the door. So at that point, I issued a citation and posted it on the property, as well as sent it by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance date listed was the 27th of November, and in addition to the original citation, I added tires that were stored outdoors and accumulated rubbish and debris outdoors on the property. There you'll see the window is still boarded on the left side of the property, and the front right window is still missing. There's piles of trash in the backyard, car parts, inoperable vehicles, as well as a large accumulation of trash in the front of the property, and the vehicles covered by a tarp in the backyard. Some of the vehicles, anyway. There's another view of that, of the items in the front, and again in the back. The property remained in violation from that time for an extended period of time. There was a significant lapse in the time period here because on January 1st, all the code enforcement officers rotated districts. So we were assigned different parts of the city. However, this case was still open. That brings us to the 7th of March of this year, when we received a citizen complaint due to the worsening exterior of the property. On the 13th of this year, the 13th of March of this year, Code Enforcement Officer Tim Butts inspected the property as a result of that complaint, because he was assigned to that district at the beginning of the year. However, at that inspection, he had determined that my case was still open, so he referred that inspection to me. On the 14th of March, I re-inspected and found that the property was not only in violation, but more so than before. A citation was issued on that date and posted to the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail. And the compliance date listed on that was the 26th of March of this year. In addition to all of the previous violations, also the citation contained junk, scrap, and car parts, accumulated construction and demolition debris, and scattered garbage. The pictures here you see are from when that citation was posted in March. The window is still boarded, as well as tires and car parts in front of the structure there. This is just a large accumulation of scattered trash and debris and all kinds of stuff at the rear of the house. There's more construction debris, piles of pallets and glass. Again, numerous vehicles remaining in the backyard on the property, all of which appear to be inoperable. Those cars that were covered by a tarp in November are still there, as well as a burned pile of trash. Other vehicles that are parked on the right side of the yard. Again, more scattered garbage and debris. As of today, the case has been open for 221 days, and the property remains in violation. However, there has been some progress. That at least 2 of the windows that were previously broken or missing are still broken or missing. However, it appears now that there's a 3rd window that does not actually operate and is stuck in an open position. The picture on the left there is that window that was boarded from the left-hand side of the house. To the left of the front door there, you see a window that's stuck open that has been open since, I believe, November of last year. So I don't know if that's not able to be closed or what. The backyard still has 3 inoperable vehicles parked on the grass. However, a large majority of them have been removed. There's still a few piles of debris, and I think that's a pile of drywall and rubbish and such there next to a burned pile of brush. Again, there's a few vehicles back there covered in tarps, and then that's the front window that's still just covered by a piece of paper and is still missing. So that's the state of the property today.
Thank you. It's not occupied?
It is. It is occupied, and in fact, today, when I went to go take pictures for the meeting, I can hear people inside because they have no windows in the front of the house. So I can hear them inside talking. So I was banging on the door and yelling and trying to get anyone to come out to talk to me. I heard people inside saying, "No, you go to the door, no, you go to the door," and no one would actually come to the door. When I went around to the back of the house to take the pictures, I again heard people inside and knocked and still had no response. So there's no cooperation from them.
Did you talk to the owner?
I talked to the female of the 2, Miss Monreal, at that one phone call, or I'm sorry, the one face-to-face contact when I had gone to leave that door hanger. I spoke with her. She and I briefly corresponded by phone. The male half I have not spoken with.
Okay, is Mary, whatever you pronounce it, Monreal there, is she one of the owners?
Yes, I believe so. I believe that's the female that I spoke with out in the front yard.
You said on the 9th of November you talked to her.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that was Miss Monreal because, again, I'm piecing that together from not only that encounter, but then the subsequent phone contact,
Right.
Where she had called and we left a voicemail and then we talked briefly.
Okay. Board have any questions? All righty.
I make a motion to implement the per-day fine in the amount of $100 to go until the property meets the standards.
I'll second that.
Thomas, Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Wilder,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. And our next order of business, repeat offenders, and we have none of that.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to do this. We have a matter of pending litigation. I need to go in closed session to discuss it with you. I'll just need a motion to that.
Motion to go in closed session.
Second.
Thomas and Deere, was that right?
Good enough?
Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Wilder, Thomas.
We are adjourned. Hey, thank you very